Hey guys, tonight we're doing episode 5 of breaking down the stories. There's some great stuff starting at the digging debacle. We got a bunch of stuff happening in the treasure hunting world, and we're so excited to bring it all to you. I'm Emma.
I'm Jam, and we are Treasure Hunt with Us. And that's right. We thought we were going to break it up into 3 and do 70 pages, but guess what? We're going to do 3 more stories, and we're still only at page 68. So we got a while to go.
I
We
think
got to pick this up.
63. 63.
63? We're
Yeah.
not even at 68?
Like,
Oh,
what's the matter? Like, I just think about how, like, yeah, we'll do this third, this third, this third. But the reality is, this is these stories are very rich in information and they're rich in thought and depth and gosh, you don't want to miss anything, right? So we're going to continue to tear it apart the way we're doing it. Try not to make these episodes too long. We don't want to waste anybody's time, and we want to bring to you what we see that has value. But before we jump into all that, we want to throw a little bit of information out there first. For those of you who are part of the Treasure or No Treasure, they're down to 14 people, and then we're ready to go. So that's coming up. That's
yeah.
soon.
They took 20 out. Basically, you're only competing against 80 people instead of 100 people.
That's
I'm in it.
fantastic. I'm
Emma's
in
in
it.
it. My wife's in it.
I
My
think
mom's
Scott's in
in
it.
it.
Janet's in it.
Can you beat my mom? I don't know. She's pretty good.
She's really
So,
smart. She's really
yeah,
smart.
14 left. Don't be left out. We gave away
Don't be left out.
15, I think, right? Or
We gave away
20?
15. We do
We
have
gave away a lot.
four people.
Yeah.
We have sent you codes and you have not registered. So 4 people who haven't registered, you know who you are. If you haven't registered, we're going to give you until like what 3 o'clock at Eastern time on Saturday to register. And if you don't register by then, we're going to give your codes away. We say that not to be mean. We say that because we want the hunt to fill.
Yeah, and
And
they can't start until you guys put those codes in. And if you have issues and
right.
you don't understand how to do it, email me. I'll walk you through it. Well, you can email us at comments@treasurehuntwithus.com.
What?
Please like, comment, subscribe. I can't believe 14. We're over 1,400. 14
You
fan,
guys
I
did
think.
that for us.
Woo!
Thank you.
That's
Well,
insane.
and
Thank you
speaking of
so much.
subscribing, Calazar and K-Pro, 950 away from 10,000. If you
950.
950, if you watch our channel and you don't subscribe to them, which would be shocking to us, but if you're one of those people or one of those people who watch them but aren't subscribed to either of us, I don't know if you just saw that lightning in the background or that lightning in the background. It's a little ominous. I'm not going to be like, do it or else. No, but what I will say is this, is you're missing out because when you subscribe, you're able to see when new notifications pop up and there's just amazing stuff coming out of there.
Yeah, they're gonna give some really great information. They'll probably have great information tonight. They usually drop a video every Monday, every Thursday. They're live. You can
Exactly.
actually interact with them. It's tremendous. So go subscribe, and it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. Subscribe to us, subscribe to them, subscribe to everybody.
Just
It's free.
subscribe.
It helps us out. It boosts us up, and we feel good about it. So
Right.
we appreciate it.
And if you are part of Discord or you're a treasure hunter and you don't know what Discord is, let us know because there's so many places to be getting great information and data. But if you're part of Discord, they have a Calzar has a Discord there, but also Mysterious Writing is so close to hitting 10,000. I don't know the exact number, but I'm pretty sure she's doing some giveaways this week as she reaches for 10,000 people on her Discord channel. So jump on Discord. Make sure you're signing up to come see her stuff because I see great things in there all the time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put the links down below so you can find Calazar's Discord. You can find Mysterious Writings. Those are the top 2 in my opinion. You're gonna get great information. Plus, Mysterious Writings is supposedly doing some giveaways for I don't know how many more days, but get in while you can.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. Who doesn't love a good giveaway?
Who
Clearly, we
doesn't
love a
love?
good
We love
good giveaway.
giveaways. Yeah.
I love the giveaway. I love to receive givings. I mean, that's the cool thing to do. I mean, I received this today. I'm like, I'd love to talk about it. I don't really know what to talk about it because I just got it and it's got nothing on the cover. And I opened it up and it's the treasure of known aim. And it took me
No
just a second
name.
to go, oh, known aim.
No name.
And maybe that's why there's nothing on the cover because it's known aim.
No name.
Known aim. So because of that, and once I dig in and I get a little more data, I
You
don't
have to
really know
deal
much
with
about it. What? I mean, phonetics. That's called phonics. Hooked on phonics. It worked for me. Known aim. But
no
yeah.
name. No name.
So once we know more about
But
that, we'll get to you about what that is. There's so much going on right now. There's so many treasure hunts popping up. You can see behind me. We have the Lady Liberty treasure. We have the Seat Texas is coming up. They have a meetup next week on the 17th. I have my coin. I'm ready. I'm ready. They're actually releasing that book on my birthday. Super excited.
Ooh, that is
So yeah,
exciting.
we have stuff coming down the pipe. We also have some videos. We're going to be doing this weekend. And we don't know what day we're going to put up, but we're going to do a video with Matt about Matt, which is Gold Finder, and he's just so about safety. And he's in Montana. He has a ranch. He's got a history of snowboarding in the backwoods, so he knows what to do. You know, when a grizzly bear comes running at you, or maybe a mountain lion, or like if you're lost and stuck, anything like that. He knows stuff that we think we know, but we've never experienced. And he's experienced stuff, maybe not the grizzly bear part, maybe not the mountain lion. I can't be certain. Maybe though. Um, and he knows about that stuff. We're going to talk through it. And Scott's going to do a demo on how to use the practice bear spray. So that you should be practicing these things so you don't get eaten.
Yeah, actually, that just you were talking about all those treasure hunts, and now I just remembered Quill and Compass messaged us. They have something coming out called Amnesia coming out in June, July area. They're going to send us a book, and guess what? We're going to give it away. So we
Do
are
we get
not
to
going
read
to.
it first? No?
I don't know. We probably should.
We
We're going
might
to give
read
it
it.
away
We're going to
when it
read, we'll
comes
find
out.
one and we'll
So
read it.
they're going to give us a copy. We are going to give that out. If you just watch our video, you want to join, we'll figure out how to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But they are the ones that did the bookshop. So they've already done one and a couple of
Okay.
them now. This is their second. It's a full armchair. Should be fun. So lots of treasure hunts
I
coming out. This
think
is the best
armchair
time to
is
be a
so
treasure hunt.
cool.
Yeah.
Armchair, let's talk about armchair for just a second. I know we got a lot to get through, but let's talk about armchair for just a second. When we were in Montana, Travis was there and he had his dad with him. And he's like, my dad doesn't really go out and do a ton of hunting, but he's really great at armchair. Armchair is fantastic. I mean, I love that we're giving people an opportunity to get involved who can't necessarily, or maybe don't want to necessarily, maybe like me, they hate hiking, but you know, you guys make me.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know,
Treasurefix.com. They're about to do treasure or no treasure.
treasure
Pure
it over
arm treasure. You can win
100%.
$2,000. You're only competing against 80 people. It's only $25 to enter. If
Fantastic.
you're not already in, $2,000. Guess what? If you can't afford to go treasure hunting, enter an armchair, win that. Now go out, find
But
the
you
big
can afford
treasures.
it.
That's how you do it.
Well, and you get to be part of a community, and that's fantastic. It's like one of the best parts about doing this is doing this with other people, and we're just having a great time. And speaking of great times, Indy's going to come. We're still working through the logistics of when she's going to be available. We're working through talking with Indy. Um, she just says some stuff and just blows my mind. Like she blows my mind. She just thinks so different, and I'm so
I'm
excited for that.
excited. I'm really excited to have her on.
Yeah,
It's gonna be I'm gonna be taking notes and stuff. I'm gonna be like,
right.
oh, that's right. I'm supposed to talk to you. I'm not taking
Oh,
notes. So luckily,
yeah.
we'll be
I might be like,
recording it.
Jam, pay attention. We're
Pay
talking to
attention.
somebody right here. Well, and then the last big piece of news that I would say is we're gonna do our treasure trivia is coming up. And it's probably not this week, it's likely the next week. And we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna use Cahoots. So if you don't have Cahoots, and we'll eventually post it in like one of the videos coming up so people can start getting Cahoots accounts. We're gonna do a live trivia game. We've got to, of course, have some giveaways, big shock, right? But that's why we do this. That's part of the fun, right? We're giving stuff away not because we need to. We're doing it so that you have what you need to go boots on the ground. We have what you need to be part of these hunts. And it's funny because we're having a great time. We're having a great time playing together. We're having fun. We've got more time together in the last 5 months than we've had in the last 5 years. Been worth every second.
I mean, I always have a lot of fun. So
Not as much fun as when you have with me.
not as much fun being a professional treasure hunter. So
One of our followers, Medina, we sent him a shovel and he sent us a letter. And I want to read this, and he gave me permission to read this. But I want to read it because it's the power of what we're doing, in my opinion.
it's the
And
reason
it's
we're
the
doing it.
reason.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
we're just trying to give back to people that are supporting us. We appreciate it. Thank you guys so
We
much.
really do. And we
So,
want you to have fun. We want to have fun with you. And so when he wrote this letter and we were reading it, we were on the phone together when I said, hey, there's a letter in here. And we started talking about it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to see if he's okay if I read this. So here it goes. And he says, hey guys, how's things? So yeah, just want to say thanks for making a memory with this awesome folding shovel. So sister and I were over at my mom's house getting ready to watch Knights play. We were all ready and had like 20 minutes till puck drop. So, by the way, I didn't know what that was. Apparently, it's hockey.
Knights is it's the playoffs.
Yeah,
They're doing really well. So yeah, that's what that
yeah.
is.
Didn't know. Looked it up. Now I know. Okay, I'm in the know. So I grabbed the remote and flip it over to YouTube and was like, "Well, since we got a bit, let's check out a video." So I put on your live stream, which is is longer than 20 minutes. Puck drop. So my sister's like, okay, but this is a long video. We got a game. I already like her. Like I can
Yeah.
identify. I can
Yeah.
identify with her.
You got a game. You
And
got a game.
he said, and he says, I'm like, yeah, but we got to watch a little of this just because. So your stream starts, which watching it again was so funny. I love it. I think he means me.
Thank you. Me.
You guys truly cracked me up. From the shovels giving you hell to Jam's little comments under his breath that was so comical. It was awesome. What did you say under your breath? Okay, what
Who
was it?
knows? Who knows?
Right. And he says, so anyway, you guys are at that point where you guys are having us guess your numbers. And it's just so fun to watch out the aftermath. And you guys announced the first winner, and the chat started saying my name. Medina. Did Medina win? Oh, I think he won. We'll get a shovel and he'll get a shovel as well. Because I think I might have claimed the wrong person. So at that point, I was shocked. The shocked look on my face, like I just got picked to come on down. The price is right. And my sister looks over at me like and is like, what? And I'm like, me, that's me. Maybe that's a little more emphasis, but I feel like that's how he is. I feel like that's what he's talking because there was exclamation points. So, that's what that means. And so I pull out the box and start opening it like a kid on Christmas, just going ham on it. And my sister is busting up laughing in pure delight and shock. My mom is sitting in silence, trying to figure out what kind of shenanigans I just pulled. So I get the box open, pull out the bag, and lift the awesome shovel over my head and cheer. I won. My sister couldn't stop laughing for a while. It was so awesome. Thank you guys for this opportunity. Even though my Knights lost that night. Sorry about your Knights.
It happens.
We will
We'll
still remember the time I won a folding shovel, which by the way is freaking awesome and will be used many times. So yeah, just wanted to share with you guys and also say great job on the latest video. Can't wait for the next one. Catch you later. Keep on keeping on. Go Knights go. And so when we were reading that, it's like, that's why we do it. That's it
Yeah.
right there. And then
Yeah.
he's trying to do it with his sister and his mom. I just loved it. I
Yeah,
just loved
I
it.
love it.
And
I love it.
so when people ask us why we give stuff away, watch this video.
We're just
episode
giving
5.
back. We're not trying to make a profit off of this.
Make a profit off of giving things away.
You don't. We are not making a profit, and that's the thing
Yeah.
is we're not trying to make a profit. So if we can give back,
Right.
we're gonna give back. So thank you.
Right. So let's jump in because we just talked for 13 minutes about cool stuff, but we don't want to keep you too late. So
Let's go.
we're on the digging debacle. But
That's
before we
right.
do that, we have
You
something to
gotta
do.
read the poem.
We gotta read it. We gotta read it. You want to read it tonight?
No.
Okay,
No,
I
I
just
do
want to
not.
give you the option.
Pass.
Yes, okay, ready. Beyond the Map's Edge by Justin Posey.
I know we should play the one where he reads it. So
Oh,
people
yeah.
Can
Can
really
we
pay
do
attention.
that? I don't know
If
if
you
that's a
have not
copyright
watched that,
thing.
we can't. We're not ready, and we'd have to ask Dave to do that. But
Yeah.
go to Dave's American Treasure podcast. Justin Posey reads the poem. Now he tries to be really careful about it, but
Stoic and
I've
gentle
listened to
in
it
his
already.
voice.
I've already listened to it at least 15 times. So
You're hooked. You're hooked on the Posey read.
I'm trying to hear the inflections. Just a little, I'm going to build
Inflection.
a program.
Inflections? Oh, you're
Yeah,
in the
the
program.
inflection. I'm gonna build a program and be like, oh, his just went up just a
You're
little
like,
bit. The decibel.
wait, did he
Just a
just
little
say in time or in
Yes.
time?
Did
Right?
he say
No, of course.
whole or whole?
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah,
So,
no, for sure.
all right, read it.
We'll have
Let's
to
get
ask him
going.
that. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Mhm.
Can you find what lives in time, flowing through each measured rhyme? Wisdom waits in shadowed sight for those who read these words just right. As hope surges clear and bright, walk near water's silent flight, round the bend, past the hole, I wait for you to cast your pole. In earth at east, his realm awaits, his bride stands guard at ancient gates, her foot of 3 at 20 degree. Return her face to find the place. Double arcs on granite bold, where secrets of the past still hold. Beyond the reach of time's swift race, wonder guards this sacred space. Truth rests not in clever minds, not in tangled, twisted finds. Like a river's steady flow, what you seek, you already know. You would think I'd have that memorized by now. I do not.
Apparently, over 13,000 people. What they seek, they already know. They already know where it is. So
Right,
over
13,000.
13,000, 100% know where it is. So if you're not one of those 13,000, get on it. What are you doing? You're slacking.
Hey, Come on. I mean, I would love to be 13,001, but I don't know where it is.
It's actually like 13,300 and something. So I actually
Oh, okay.
rounded down. I was being by now it's
We
14,000.
got a rounder over here. That's what's
Yeah.
going on. Okay.
What happens is now wait till they go boots on the ground and they go, oh,
Oh my
oh,
gosh.
never
I was
scratch
telling
all
people
this
about that
out.
today. I
Yeah.
had people in from the UK today. I had 7 people over for lunch today from the UK. And they were like, well, I mean, what do you mean? And I was trying to explain, I'm like, you don't understand until your boots on the ground, you don't really
Yeah.
know. And I
You
was
don't.
explaining how like we were, oh my gosh, that lightning again. And I was explaining how like we were looking at some of the mine things, mining claims, and you get there, you'd be like, well, that's a cliff, that's a no.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, and there's like you just don't know, like everything lines up perfectly, and then it doesn't.
Well,
So
luckily I still have my rappelling equipment. So
thank
if we need to
God you
go up
have
this
that
mountain,
repelling.
yes.
How about this? You
Yes.
repel, I'll hold the rope.
Okay.
I'll hold the rope.
Well, let's get into this.
Okay.
The digging debacle. It's another short chapter, and we are
Hmm.
in New Mexico
Right.
for Victorio Peak.
Hanging out with Grandma and Grandpa Posey and their dad. I
Right.
actually want to throw something out that I don't know why it kind of is like, what's that? Like a little tickle, right? The very first line where he says, "So there I stood on the wrong side of a chain link fence," right? Well, something about that just scratches in the back of my head, like chain link fence. It's probably nothing. I can't stop thinking about it. But I wanted to throw that out there because when if you're looking in Montana, and certainly being boots on the ground, I've only been in Montana for this hunt. Um, there's a lot of fences. I'm just saying.
A lot of barbered wire.
Barbed
They got
wire
that barber
fences.
wire
Barber
fences.
wire fences.
Where you look at it and you're like, oh, I could just walk right up in there. You cannot because a
You
lot of fences.
cannot.
So
Lot of
a lot of
fences.
people don't realize where they might go. They might not be able to get to. So
Right.
and we're in New Mexico, and I know a lot of people. So are like, why are we only talking about Montana? And to me, the media stories are the Montana stories. But here we are. All three of these chapters are going to be New Mexico chapters. So, for the New Mexico people, here we go. He says, the question that launched 1,000 ill-advised adventures. What would the Hardy Boys do? And I thought that was important. Why? Because in Golden Greed, he has Hardy Boy books on his shelf. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, wait. I just watched that video and I remember zooming in and looking at all the books. Some of them, Hardy Boys. So thought that was interesting.
Interesting that all these years later he has the Hardy Boys book still. First of all, those are probably very valuable if they're his
Yeah.
originals. Second
Yeah,
of all, just very interesting the things you keep, right? It tells you about the man, right? I
exactly.
liked in that first section too how he says Brandon would eat a live scorpion if you dared him.
Yeah.
I've been stung by a scorpion before. It's horrible. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
I
And
usually just
Benadryl
avoid
doesn't
them.
fix it.
No, it
Well,
does not.
I was in Arizona, not New Mexico, and I dropped my phone on the ground and it ran out from under this thing and literally stung me on my hand. And I was like, oh, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then it like hurt inside my nose and in my eye. It was really, really weird. It was really weird. But he would eat a live scorpion if dared. And that just reminded me of you. I feel like you did a lot of things you were dared when we were growing up.
Not me, but you know what I will be? We'll
Huh.
be ninjas, he whispered. And here's the
Yes.
thing, when you first of all, ninja treasure hunters, sign me up. Okay, that's like, hello,
Is
I'm
it the
in on that.
costume or the title? That's what I need to know for you. Is it the
I don't
costume or the title?
everything, all of it. That just sounds like you can't
Oh,
get any more awesome than a
you can't.
ninja treasure hunter.
You really
So
can't.
I like mentioning whispers because of the silence in there. And he
Right.
mentions whisper. He's constantly whispering throughout this whole entire book. So anytime he whispers, I bring it up because it's just nonstop. It has to mean something.
Right.
So that's why I bring it up. So he
I like
whispers.
it. I like it that you just bring it up because you feel like you need to bring it up because
Mhm.
sometimes you just need to bring it up. But
Yes.
yes, he whispered. I had that on my list too. And the interesting thing about these next couple chapters is they're all about the same thing, right? They're all about Vittorio Peak and his obsession with getting into Vittorio Peak. And so I downloaded, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it, this show that's on the Discovery Channel about Vittorio Peak. And that story's crazy. That story's crazy.
Not
And
as crazy as these stories. where he's
I
sneaking
mean,
out
these
dates.
are
It's
these are
incredible.
really crazy stories, but like I get why he was obsessed, right? And like here he is, he's about 12 to 13 years old, and he's just a true treasure hunter at this point. Like it started for him, and he's trying so hard to do whatever it takes to just get on this base so that he can get in there and get that treasure. And like, aren't we all kind of feeling that way now, right? Whatever it takes to find the location, to get the container. So we're just doing whatever it takes. And here he was, 12 years old, trying to make this happen. I just think there's something so cool about it. And bringing his brother along for the ride. Even though Brandon's hesitant, he's going to tell mom, right? He's going to tell mom, I'm going to tell mom, you decided to do this and I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, which is what I used to always do with you. I'd be like, "It just
Yeah.
you're taking the fall for this, not me." So
And
you're the
that's why
one that
everybody's
came
like,
up with the
she's
dumb
so
idea,
cool.
and I'm not taking the credit for it. You're gonna get full credit on this one.
For
So
what it's worth, most of those dumb ideas were mine, but
that's
they
true.
were all very fun. They were all very fun. You're
That is
welcome.
true. He swore he heard rhythmic thump of
Yeah,
combat boots, thumping, rhythmic. We talked about music possibly being the theme of that early stanza at the very beginning stanza and stuff.
right,
So when he talks about rhythmic thumping, sound, we're going to bring that up a lot in these chapters because he
right.
seems to repeat for these chapters a lot of the same thing.
Well, I mean, we talk all the time about the poem itself, and I mean, literally, we talk about rhythm being part of that first stanza, right? So it's
Mhm.
not a bad thing to notice every time you hear whispered. It's not a bad thing to notice every time you're hearing rhythm or rhythmic. That's substantial. So I think that that's huge. I had that on my list too. I also thought it was very interesting the way he said after they got there, they realized this is a bad idea. They thought they can go just right up to the fence and just get in, right, dig under, right? But now they realize after they get there, it's like a digging debacle, which is why they named this chapter it because they can't get in.
Yeah,
They can't get through. But a Posey doesn't give up that easily.
he does
And
not.
that's a big deal. That maybe this wasn't such a good idea, Brandon says. That's like half the time of our childhood. That's you saying maybe this wasn't such a good idea. It's
That's
so
half the
fun.
time of our adulthood. What are you talking? Childhood.
Oh, that seemed like so much judgment and truth in one statement.
It's a true story.
Hey, at least you know you're always getting a good ride when you hang out with me.
Well, he does talk about digging, which you think it's buried by some
I
of the things
do.
you were saying last time about the excavator and things like that. And he
There's an
says,
excavator in this chapter. We'll get to
yeah,
that.
yeah. And he's talking about digging, and he said it might land us in a hole we couldn't dig out of.
Yeah.
So hole obviously in the poem, not a capital H, but that we could not dig out of. So he's talking about digging a hole. Don't dig too deep, apparently, if you're looking for this treasure, because make sure you can get out of it. So
Right. You know, the other thing I realized just now in talking about
yeah,
this is Justin and Brandon's first ever boots on the ground.
yeah, it
It's their
really
first
was.
boots on the ground. Like they get out there and they realize this isn't going to work. It's their first boots on the ground. Like he detailed the first boots on the ground of his first real treasure hunt.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I just thought about it right now. She's out there with Brandon. It's their first time. You got to turn around. Boy, I've experienced that.
Yeah,
So, you know, you get there, it's
recon.
like,
That's why you got
oh,
to do recon. Come up with new ideas. So
recon, recon, recon. That's huge. That's it. But you're right. They did mention excavating again. He said there had to be a way in that didn't involve becoming an amateur excavator.
there it
Yeah.
is.
Now you see why we buy people shovels. Now
That's
you
right.
see.
Because we think you're going
Um,
to have to dig at some point. I still think there's going to be something on top of it. That's why he had to do
it
4
could
trips.
be.
And he might
Yeah.
have brought a bronze Tucker statue or a raccoon. Could be. I'm not sold that it's not a raccoon because coming up is going to be a ton of raccoons. We've already talked about a ton about raccoons. He's obsessed with raccoons. He had a pet
He
raccoon.
loves a good
So
raccoon. He loves a good raccoon.
that and
Um,
Tucker. So
Right, but I do love a couple quick things that I did love to end this chapter out because it's not very long. He says, he's talking about how it's like another failed idea, right? But he says, fortunately, I still had plenty of equally terrible ideas. But like, here's what I love about it. It's like he's identifying that they were bad ideas, but are they really bad ideas? Because I'm going to tell you, every time I go boots on the ground, the first thing that people say when I get back is, did you find the treasure? And it's like, don't you think I would like look different? I'd be wearing that bracelet like this. I'd be like, oh my gosh, did you see this dragon bracelet? Although now that I know that Cynthia would love to have that bracelet, I have to think about that. Um, but I'd be like, oh, the dragon bracelet. I'd be like, what was I doing? Oh, I don't know, like pointing around and stuff like that. But like those aren't terrible ideas because I've found that I've learned something in every single recon mission we've had. Have I come back with the treasure? Absolutely not. Do I feel a step closer to the treasure? Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point of recon, right? Or going out
Hmm.
there. We knew that we would probably get blocked from a lot of places we wanted to go. That's why
Right.
we're like, hey, look, we're not going to just go out there with one solve. We need to make sure that we have a lot of locations so that if we get turned away, we didn't just spend all this money to get to Montana and say, I can't get there,
Right.
So now we basically said, now that we're out here and we got turned away from one spot, two spots, three spots, let's check all our spots so that when we go back, we can really drill down.
Right.
And the second time,
Right.
we were a little bit more successful in moving around. So,
Right. And we got a little bit more successful in the possibility of our next time we go out there. Like we
yes,
feel really good about two separate locations that are out there. And that's like to have two quality solvable spots. That's a pretty good idea, a good thing to have because you just never know the moment you're like, this isn't it.
right.
And that moment you have to be like, well, what am I supposed to do with the rest of my trip? If you're there for 4 days and it's day one and you realize you don't have it, you have to have a backup. And
You do.
people get so stuck on their solves, you should still have a secondary and a tertiary plan just in case. Hey, I want you to go find that. I want you to go find that bronze Tucker statue.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
actually I don't. That was a lie because then I'd lose a
Too
bet.
late. Too late.
I want you to go find a plastic box that was in his garage. I want you to go find that and be
It's
able to
not going to
recognize
happen.
it.
So the last thing I
But
had on this is he knew it was time to return to the drawing board. So time to
right,
return.
time to return.
Time's in the poem, but just felt like he was using the word time. So, but you never
Right.
know. So it's in the poem. I brought it up. So
I think the most important thing from this chapter you learn is that Justin is a planner. He spent weeks on plan B. Like they spent weeks being out there on plan B. So you know he's a planner. And so you're like, okay, he's a planner. What does that mean? It means he put a lot of thought and detail into what we're doing right now. And that's beautiful.
that's right. Okay. Do you have anything else on the digging
I'm done. That's what
debacle?
I've got.
Well,
That's what
then
I've
let's go on to the tour trap where we're still in New Mexico.
White Sands Missile Ray.
That's right. I mean, if you're going to try to sneak somewhere, sneak on a missile base. That's what I always say,
I mean, go big
Yeah,
or go home. Go
go
big
big
or
or go
go
home. Yeah, the
Come on,
military's
how
okay with it. They don't
what does
mind.
it say though about the way he was thinking as a kid? Like here he is, he's problem solving at a level I don't think most kids that age are problem solving, right? He's like, I can't get on, I can't get on, I can't walk up to the gate and just walk in. I can't dig under the gate. Now I'm gonna take a tour and I'm gonna sneak away while I'm on that tour, right? But I loved how he said, after reviewing my arsenal of terrible ideas. I landed on a brilliantly simple plan, join a public tour of the base, then get conveniently lost. Well, one place that I love in the Dillon area is the Lost Valley State Park.
There you go.
I
That's
don't
a
think that's a
good
bad
one.
area.
It's not a
I don't
bad
think that's a bad
area.
area.
It hits it, although we're talking about New Mexico, and that's in
Yeah.
Montana. But
Well,
yeah,
it is in Montana. There, Lost Valley is in Montana, but the point is this: is that when you see something in quotes, when I'm reading this book and I'm looking for signs, I'm trying to find words and things that confirm my confirmation bias. And the word "lost" in quotes was very fantastic for me.
I agree. I liked how Justin whispered to Brandon, "Remember, we're just two normal kids." So I thought that was funny.
Yeah, no, and here's the thing, like you talk about this, and I mean, I can only imagine as a kid what it felt like to be like out on this space, and you're like trying to find your moment, and you're trying to find your chance to slip away. And when he finally hears that, this is our classified research operations area, and he's like, it would be part of that. And it's like, would it be? Would they even a young mind thinking that they're like, here's the gold we found, But like that's the difference of being an adult thinking you're going to see something classified versus a child, right?
Exactly. Later, he also whispers, "Target acquired." That's right. Target acquired.
A lot of whispering in this chapter.
It's
A
ridiculous how much
lot of
they
whispering.
whispered. Yeah,
You're
but he
lost,
also
you whisper,
you do a silent nod. That's how they
right?
moved with a hey, go.
Like that.
I'm
We would be so bad
whispering.
at this.
No,
My whispers
never
are so
again.
loud. I'm like, hey. I'm
I know.
whispering,
No, my wife is the worst whisperer. She goes, "All right, I'm whispering." And I'm like, "No, that means take the volume down, not just make the whisper voice." So,
Right. She does do that. It's kind of
yeah.
funny. But it's like, mostly it's just a really cute story. Um, and I don't know what more you have. I have a couple little tiny things in this chapter, but like he told us there's some chapters that are stories, or some stories that are stories. And I think outside of drawing the attention to the whispers and stuff like that, there wasn't a ton of
Well,
detail and the word lost.
so here's the thing. So I actually found something really interesting. Would you like to hear it?
I'd love to hear it.
Okay, so he says for exactly 3.5 seconds. So obviously three comes up a lot, right? And so, matter of fact, in this chapter, he says the word three a lot. So I hit the three, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's the number three again, right? And then he says Brandon took a half step forward. So 3.5 seconds, Brandon took a half step forward. I'm like, wait a minute, those are like right next to each other. Is there another word half in there? Like, is he going to just keep saying the word half in this story? He doesn't say that a lot, right? So
Mhm.
then I read a little longer. Next, I see swallow you whole. Two halves make a whole. And it's like WHOLE. So it is used right. So then I finished off the chapter and it says they made it halfway. So he used
Oh,
half 3 times. He says the number three multiple times, and two halves make a whole. Just throwing that out there.
right. I mean, literally, the chapter ends with third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm. That's
The
right. Matter of
old,
fact, the
right.
MP says Sierra Alpha. This is Victor 3. And the MP has eaten MREs in 3 different combat zones. So
Yeah.
it's like three, half, three, three, half. I don't know. It's just
What does
weird.
it
It's just
mean?
weird
It's
writing.
unusual.
So,
Like, you're looking for the symbolism in the things, and that's definitely a thing. I found something I did think was interesting when he's telling when his dad's telling his grandparents about what's going on, and like, as much as he's mad, he seems to like really think it's kind of cute and funny, and his mom is like, sounds familiar, and they had an old mine when they lived in Animus. I'm like, oh, so you've had mines before. So I thought that was kind of interesting too. And he says, "That's my boys." I think that's really sweet. Like it's a family thing that they have this treasure hunting is for life with them, and it's just like that need for answers. That's genetic.
yeah, my boys do dumb stuff. That's my boys.
Yeah.
I love that.
I mean, if you have boys, you know how that goes. I've got boys,
Yeah,
but
so that's
yeah,
all I had. The halves making a whole and lots of threes. So
lots of threes, threes for days. Well, what about the paternal ploy?
guess what?
Again,
We're still in New Mexico.
still in New Mexico, hanging out with the Posies.
That's right.
And the paternal part, obviously, because it's a P, is his father. But still, a few months later, he's nursing his wounded pride, but he's still trying to get on the space. He's not giving up. Months have gone by. He's still trying to find a way on. That's fantastic. And he says something right in that very first chapter. He says, "I stumbled upon what I was sure was my golden ticket. If someone offers you a ticket to ride, you take the ticket."
Yeah. If you got the book is the ticket, buy the book. So it's true.
Look at you
Okay.
selling books.
I know. You're trying to get him to maybe sign a couple for us, and we were going to give them away. We're not going to keep
We've
them, even
certainly
though
asked.
I
We've
want to
certainly
win it.
asked. I
Yeah,
would
we'll
love,
try.
listen, I
Yeah.
sent 2 emails. I feel a bit like a stalker, but I'm not trying to be a stalker. I just think
Yeah.
that people would like to have something like that. I'm
Yeah.
glad to buy them. I'm glad to send them. I'm glad to pay for signatures. I'm glad to have them shipped back. Whatever it takes to help our viewers know how much we value them. That's the goal. And what a
Yeah.
great
That
thing to
would
give
be
out.
pretty awesome. That would be
Yeah.
pretty
Oh my
awesome.
gosh, for sure. Heck, some point he's supposed to do a book signing. You think I'm not going to show up with like 5 copies of books so that I could do that in the future? Bet your butt I'm going to have books in hand to have them signed for those
If
things.
he'll sign that many, yes, I
I
agree.
mean, I feel like if I show up with 5 books, why wouldn't he sign 5 books?
I mean, he got all day. Okay,
I mean,
he
I'm in
got all
line,
day.
same as
That's
everybody
true.
else with my
That's
books that
true.
I purchased,
It might
same as
say
everybody
one
else.
book per person. We don't know.
I mean, I've never
When
been
have
to
you
a book
been? I
signing.
was
Is
gonna
there
say
a rule?
how many book signings have you been to? So,
Listen,
anyways,
I've never cared enough to have a book signed until this. And now I see
yeah.
its value.
I just think it'd be interesting. So maybe he puts a clue in
Yeah.
there. You never know. All right. He mentions time a few times, but nothing big,
Yeah.
nothing that really stands out. And then he says Brandon was quiet for a moment. And as you know, silence and being quiet
Hmm.
in the poem. So there we go. We hit on that.
Yeah.
So he
A
says,
bunch of stuff.
yeah, the warning bells ringing. Ding, 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 ding. Warning bells ringing. That made
Yeah,
me
I,
go
I
ding, ding,
remember
ding,
being
ding.
hauled off by the MPs. What's your point? That does sound like something you would have said when we were young. Remember when we got in trouble last time we did this?
Yep. I remember
Yeah.
a lot of times getting in trouble.
Well,
So
and I found it interesting how he's talking about ranchers' land. So it's like, here we are again, talking about all the areas you're looking, ranchers' land. Maybe that's something to think about. Like I mean, it would be private property, but somewhere in that
private
vicinity,
property. Do not go on people's
be
private
careful.
property.
Don't go on people's property. But ranchers' land, he does mention it. I'm just saying.
Yes.
He
He
was
does
going on private
mention
property.
the three of us approached the door, and he's talking about his dad, Brandon, and himself.
Hmm.
That's after they go to this rancher's house, right? So he
Right.
says the three of
Well,
them. So there's the
well,
number
they
three.
had to go because Goonies never die in this chapter.
That's Goonies never die in any chapter.
In any chapter, but he's like, I was like, oh, Goonies never die. And I love that he called this Operation Fence Hopping.
I like that too.
So
You know
cute,
what
little
I
boy.
found interesting, which I read this chapter, I've read this multiple times, right?
Yeah,
So, and I never really paid attention to it until if you've been to Montana, if you heard about Montana, you've heard boots on the ground in Montana, you know basically there's rattlesnake cliffs, there's rattlesnake this, there's rattlesnake that, there's
yeah.
rattlesnakes, there's literally rattlesnakes.
Lots of rattlesnakes.
If you're in Montana, you need to be prepared for rattlesnakes. And I never thought twice about it, but I read this again, and he says he looked like he had the personality of an ornery rattlesnake, which I didn't know rattlesnakes looked ornery, but that's what
I
the
mean,
guy
how
looked
else would
like.
they look?
I don't know,
I
but why
feel like,
rattlesnake? You know, to me, it's kind of telling you again. I mean, but that's pointing to Montana. I mean, I'm sure there's rattlesnakes in New Mexico. There's probably rattlesnakes everywhere.
I
So
mean, there's definitely rattlesnakes in California.
but is there a rattlesnakes? Yeah, there is. But is there a rattlesnakes cliffs and a rattlesnakes trail and a rattlesnakes this and that and everything's
I mean,
rattlesnakes up
speaking of
there?
rattlesnakes, I did just get some information about Lou B. We need to get him on our show so we can ask him about rattlesnakes.
Oh my gosh, Lou B is the snake guy. We need Lou B on there and be like, "What's up with all these snakes, man? Seems dangerous in Montana. He should be in Montana.
He
He
should
would
be in
probably love
Montana.
it. Oh my gosh, yeah, we got to get him on and tell
Well,
him to
and
get on
he's
this
almost
Justin Posey.
100,000. Make sure you drop his link down below so he can hit that 100,000.
I will. He's only 1,600 subscribers away. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're not subscribed to Loopy and you want to see some
Right.
amazing snake videos, he goes out there, he does it with his family. He has an amazing wife, couple kids, and it's awesome.
Couple kids,
Good stuff.
couple
He's a
of those
pilot.
grandkids. Yeah,
You want to see stuff about planes? He's got some cool videos up there.
he does have a
So
lot of cool stuff. The other thing I thought was really interesting in this chapter is when he talks about the key ring. There's 18 to 20 keys on an old brass
yes,
ring,
20 being the magic number, right?
right?
So because
Yep,
out of 20 degree, not degrees, just
exactly. Well,
so
and because of the lock, the brass keys, I just thought such a tie-in, right? What are you telling us in this chapter that we're missing? And it actually made me read it two or three more times, and I couldn't really find anything. And I was like, I need to come back and read it again because it's like, is your mindset right to find the thing? Is there something here more than what I'm thinking?
well,
And
I
so
understand why you had problems
you
because
do
his
is
dad began weaving his web of words. His voice was a
weaving.
melody of reason and charm. So it's distracting when someone talks like that, but melody of reason and charm. So thought that
Well,
was
and I have to read
interesting.
these things like so many times because I read like I read at an insane pace. Like I'm 100 pages in an hour. And that's not an exaggeration. When you read 100 pages in an hour, you're not consuming the information correctly, right? I'm grabbing detailed pieces and moving on. But you can't read this like that. So I'm finding myself slowing down and being like, "Oh my gosh." I mean, you've seen how I talk. You can imagine how I read. And so I go through and I go through, and so I'll read things so many times, and I'm like, how did I miss that? So if you're feeling with that way, it's okay. I'm feeling it too. I
Yeah, I
did like
mean,
though, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. No, sorry.
I did like though that how the dad tricked him. The dad knew. The dad knew they weren't getting on that land. But he wanted his boys to see what would happen. He wanted them to feel supported, but he wanted them to He wanted them to see that there's going to be consequences to your actions.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good dad to not just shut him down and to take him
Yeah.
out there and let them see for themselves, because they probably wouldn't have believed him. They probably would have just kept trying until, you go out
We
there and
wouldn't
you
have
see you
believed
can't.
them. We wouldn't have
No.
believed them as kids. We would have been like, we got to find another way. We got to get out there. But I did love how he ended it with the siren call of a hidden treasure still echoes in my ears.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? So he says, the old man says, the last Indiana Joneses was on
Another
the police.
Indiana Jones reference. I can't believe I didn't bring
The
that up.
Indiana Joneses
Joneses. I
yes,
do like
was
that.
on the police radar in no time, and I can almost hear the sad trombone playing in the background. So we got bells ringing, we got trombones, we got melody from the dad. And what did you just read? Something about a
A
siren
siren.
call while it
Yep.
was echoed in my ears. That's a lot of sound, a lot of music stuff in this. And I've noticed that this is kind of what the New Mexico theme's been. It's a lot of noise and stuff. So
Right. It
interesting.
actually, so when I've still been working on my cipher thoughts. And so I want to try to use my cipher on this chapter and see how that works. Although it hasn't had any success at all, if I'm honest. But I want to try it on this chapter just in case. You know what I mean? Just in case. But yeah, there's a lot in here and there's a lot to unpack. And it's just like you're so right about the themes and the undertones of the, the noise and the sound and the whispers and the rhythm and all of that stuff. And we haven't even gotten out of New Mexico.
Yeah, I think we have to stop here. We've been going for a while, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. This is though, and I know I don't want to. I'm not trying to offend the New Mexico people. Like, there's less in these chapters to me than other chapters. I'm picking up the number 3.
Right.
I'm picking up some sounds and whispers and stuff like that. A little bit of rhythmic, little music and stuff, but it's not as meaty. So when people go, why are most people in Montana? Why are they not in these other areas? It's just because those Montana chapters just feel like and
And I'm going to
screaming.
tell you, I have a few people who I talk to regularly that are New Mexico people, and even
That's
they're
good.
being less and less New Mexico people.
Yeah, but we're not trying to discourage New Mexico, because
Yeah.
guess what? If I didn't want this treasure to be found fast, I'd make it seem like it's over here. Look over here in Montana. Wait, Montana. Don't
Yeah.
look down here.
Montana.
Okay? Don't look down.
Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah, too funny. Well, that's I think all we've got for tonight because it's been a lot. It's been a long video. There's so much information here for us that we just unpacked, and it's like again looking for the symbolism. There's a lot of stuff coming. Those threes are huge. And if you listened to Dave too, I don't know about anybody else, but Audio with Dave on Spotify or Apple Podcast, Justin reiterated how many clues there were in Netflix, and there's a ton. So if you haven't rewatched it recently, I recommend you go out and rewatch it and see what you're missing. Because there's clues. I
Yeah.
watched it today. I saw two things I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, I mean, especially after you read the book a few times, then you go back and you watch the video, you're
Hmm.
like, "Ooh, that's," or vice versa. You watch the video, and like, that's how I got the Hardy Boys thing. I'm like, "Wait, Hardy Boys? That literally it's in the Golden Greed." So
Right, right.
does
So
that
so
mean that
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 that's my
chapter is screaming
recommendation.
clue? Yeah,
Mm,
Victorio
that's
Peak, very popular.
Victoria Peak. Well, it's a lot. We'll be back this weekend, some point with Matt. We'll let you know once the India video is going to be up. There's so much going on. If you have anything you need us to look at, we'll be boots on the ground. Not this weekend because it's Mother's Day weekend, but next weekend we'll be boots on the ground. Each of us in different locations. A lot coming out, boys and girls. Message us if you've got something you'd like us to look up. We're here to support you guys. Thanks for always being here to support us.
Thanks. Bye.